If we're relying on our own strength to do the things that we need to do, then we're giving us to one another, giving ourselves to someone. We need to be giving Christ to one another, so we need to be filled in Christ. There's a prayer that's attributed to St. Francis, and it goes, at the beginning of it, it says, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace, right? And the key word there is instrument. Now in the song that is inspired by this prayer, it says, make me a channel of your peace, right? Very popular, very familiar song in church. But according to St. Bernard, actually he calls us not to be channels. He actually says, don't become a channel. He says we need to become reservoirs. Channels dry up, but reservoirs in their abundance is able to overflow to the people around. It's almost like the analogy of when you're in an airplane and you have a child with you and the oxygen masks drop. They always tell you first to put one on yourself and then to put one on the other person who needs help. So important for us to see that when it comes to our spiritual life, when we want to go out and we want to do all these great things in the world, the first thing that we need to check is that, are we being fed? Are we taking the time to be filled, to overflow God's love, not ourselves? You know, so many times, especially people in the church and in ministry, but even at the home, like moms and dads who are so caught up in work and taking care of things and soccer practice and all these things, we can neglect to put into check the things that we need to do first, first things first. And one of that is tending to that relationship with God and turning to our faith and our family and our love for our children and our spouse. So we need to become reservoirs of God's love. And we need to make sure that we don't put that aside, or we're going to end up spinning our wheels. We're going to end up becoming dry, and we're not going to be able to give what we truly need to give, which is if we're relying on our own strength to do the things that we need to do, then we're giving us to one another, giving ourselves to someone. We need to be giving Christ to one another, so we need to be filled in Christ. And a friend of mine said, he says, people will say, my work is my prayer. Sometimes they'll say that to excuse maybe that time that they need to go into their prayer. But he says, if your prayer isn't your prayer, then your work will never be your prayer. So we have to make sure that we're being filled. And then in that abundance, then we can give of ourselves without being burnt out, without being worn out, but giving of ourselves with a strength that comes only from God, and sharing that love which comes from God.
And give it all away.